A month ago, I made a video where I had split my 20 plus Dendrobiums into two groups. One group was to go all through the winter with regular watering, just at a decreased frequency. I chose once every third day, and this was to account for colder temperatures. So that group is on the clothing rack to the left. I chose another group to get a 1 month dry rest. That group is on the larger clothing rack to the right. Here's how I define dry rest. No water to the root zone. Some people might mist the leaves and stem during their dry rest. As long as no water is getting to the roots, I think it still counts as a dry rest. 1 month from December 15th to January 15th has really flown by, so I'm going to first give some objective results, and then I'm going to give my thoughts. I have flower buds forming in both the regular watering and dry rest groups. This is Secundum, the pink variety, in the dry rest group. There is a flower bud, and then up here, two more as well. This is Secundum, the white, the alba variety. You can see the white in the flower buds. This is Amethystoglossum in the regular watering group. This is Calmersii in the regular watering group. Bud. There has been significant leaf yellowing and dropping in the dry rest group. These are two regular variety Anosmum. You can see the leaf yellowing and dropping starts from the base of the canes and moves its way toward the tips. This is Anosmum superbum. Again, the yellowing comes from the base. This is Moscatum. Again, it's from the base toward the tips. This is the Secundum pink variety. This is the Secundum alba. Here is a Primulinum alba and the regular yellow Primulinum. The Primulinum has the yellowing from the tips as well, so it seems to be working towards the middle. Here are two more regular variety Anosmum displaying the leaf yellowing and dropping. My Lodigessii, the leaf yellowing and dropping seems to occur anywhere on the canes, not just from the base or the tips. My Wassellii has grown so much. This is new, that one in the back is new, these two are new. It's putting out roots. I attribute this to my buying of an LED light fixture and really increasing the light to this area. My Lindlei has seemed to have not done much during the dry rest. My plants in the regular watering group have not dropped many leaves or any at all. There's a squirrel. It's not a fair comparison to the dry rest group though, because these plants, most of them are very small and didn't have many leaves to drop in the first place. A lot of the plants in the regular watering group have put on a lot of mass. The Brie Marianum, look at all that new growth. The Lamulatum, this has really grown a lot. The Amboinense, that is all new. The Finlianum continues growing new growths at the base. The Trantuanii and Parisiae have not really done much. The Calmercii has grown a lot. This is new. It has been adding length in addition to the buds. I am now going to water the dry rest group. I'm so happy to be able to do so again. For some types of Dendrobiums, there's consensus on what to do in winter. For example, the antelope types, like Antenatum. The consensus is you need to maintain regular watering. So your choices are basically, you keep close to your summer temperatures using a heater, and then you maintain regular, high-frequency watering. Or you could allow a temperature drop. You could allow it to about 60 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 degrees Celsius, or even lower to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius. And then in the cooler temperature, you would still water regularly, just less frequency. So this low frequency watering. So high frequency, dot, 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 very close together. Low frequency water, 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 less frequently. The thing is, with most Dendrobiums, there's no consensus on what to do in winter. Let's take Anosmum and Lindley as examples. Here's one of my Anosmums. Here's my Lindley. Now Salvador at Clown Alley Orchids, you've probably seen his video. One of his videos on repotting Dendrobiums has over 100,000 views. I'll see if I can link to it. Salvador maintains the nursery greenhouses at about 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 26 degrees Celsius. Oh, I should write a C there. Hold on. I've changed the F to a C, so Salvador at Clown Alley Orchids, he maintains the greenhouse temperatures at 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 26 degrees Celsius. The reason he does that is because other than Dendrobiums, Clown Alley has so many other genera of orchids in their greenhouses. Now, I know with the maintaining of the high temperatures and the high frequency watering, he tells me he waters his plants at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. And in these growing conditions, his anosmums and his Lindleys manage to be covered in flowers in the spring. Now, unlike Salvador, Dr. Wong, and I might link to his article about how he takes care of anosmums, he was a professor in the Texas Agricultural and Mining University System, A&M, before working as head of research at a major orchid nursery. You could argue he's the main force behind orchids being available in grocery stores in the US. So he's a very distinguished guy in the orchid community. He says anosmums need a temperature drop to bloom. So this one path here, you with heaters maintain a high temperature. These other 3 paths, you allow the orchids to feel that cold winter, the drop in temperatures. So you might allow it to again drop down to here or down to here. With the temperature drop, you would water less frequently, and so Dr. Wong, he does this low frequency watering. But it is still a regular, just less frequent watering. Now I'm sure someone of his caliber gets blooms on his anosmums. Now let's skip to pathway number 4 here. Let's review. Salvador says you can keep everything the same as you do in summer and you still get blooms. Dr. Wong says you need a temperature drop, but you still maintain watering and you'll get blooms. Now, pathway 4. Brad of Brad's Greenhouse, he's huge on YouTube, and Ricardo, I believe his last name is Goopy, he's got a blog full of posts on how to keep dendrobiums, and he's been doing so for years. These two say you need a temperature drop, and here's the new thing. You need a long period of drought, around 3 months, to get blooms. Ricardo has written on his blog that this long period of drought is what he does to get blooms on his anosmums. Brad, I'm not sure if he keeps anosmums. I know the long drought is what he does for his lindleys because he has said that in his videos. Now, I don't know where this idea of a 3-month long, like such a long drought comes from. Brad often mentions the dry conditions lasting from Halloween to Valentine's Day. Ricardo keeps his anosmums outside in tropical Puerto Rico. I'm sure he's getting like the occasional winter rain shower in Puerto Rico, and in Puerto Rico he's probably getting mist and dew. So that's why I have an asterisk here. He advocates for a long period of no water, but I believe his orchids, because he keeps them outside in Puerto Rico, they must still be getting water during that period he's not watering them. So again, I don't know where this idea of needing such a long drought comes from. A guess would be maybe some orchid lover a long time ago heard there was a very long dry season somewhere in Asia, and they thought that dry season means there's no rain and the orchids are not getting any water at all. They maybe didn't account for that very humid air combined with cold temperatures results in a lot of that water vapor condensing out of the atmosphere and that water getting onto roots. Now, I have a book that mentions a 1 to 2 month period of dry air in many parts of Asia, when, because the air is so dry, there is not all of that mist and dew supplying water. Therefore, I tried this third pathway, which is a mix of Dr. Wong's low-frequency watering, and then during the very coldest period in my winter window, I do a 1 month dry, no water rest. And so it's kind of like a mixture of Dr. Wong's strategy and Brad and Ricardo's strategy. I don't know if I'll get blooms on my anosmums. I hope so. I've gotten them on my secundums though, and I showed that earlier. I'm not sure what I'll do next winter, but I think this diagram lays it out pretty clearly, your choices for winter care of your dendrobiums when there's not a lot of consensus on what the best care is. Thanks so much for watching. Lastly, a quick shout out to Lynn Brooks in Western Australia. She answered my video request. Thank you so much for the video, Lynn.